Hi everyone, this is Indumati, Assistant Professor of CSE Department from RMK Engineering College. Hope you all doing good. Okay, let's start the video. From this video lecture, you will learn the concept of approximation algorithm for NP-hard problems. Before going to the topic, I would like to recall some important terms related with NP-hard and approximation algorithm. If a problem is given, we need to find the solution by performing some step-by-step procedure. This process is called as algorithm. This algorithm can be solved either in polynomial time or in non-polynomial time. Based on this computational complexity, problems can be classified into two groups. One is class P problem and another one is class NP problem. For the first category, P stands for polynomial time. That is, problems which can be solved in polynomial time. Such kind of problems are called as class P problems. The worst case time complexity of this kind of problem is big O of n power k, where k is a constant value. The best example for class P is all searching and sorting problems. For class NP problem, those problems cannot be solved in a polynomial time. That means we cannot reach the solution in a polynomial time. We can reach the solution in exponential time. That is, if input sizes increases, the computational complexity will also increase exponentially. So this kind of problems are called as class NP problem. But we can verify the solution in a polynomial time. And so that NP problems are superset of P problem, P problems are subset of NP problem. The best example for NP problems are Sudoku, scheduling, traveling salesman problems. I will show you why the Sudoku problem is in NP category. I think you all know the rules and regulation of this problem. This is 9 cross 9 matrix. You need to fill all the rows, all the columns and all sub boxes from 1 to 9 without duplication. Take this first box. It has only 4 values, that is 1, 3, 4, 6 out of 9 values. So we need to fill 5 more values here. If I started from this cell, I will have 5 possibilities, 5 chances, and after filling the first cell, I will have 4 chances. After filling the second cell, for this cell, I will have only 3 options. For this cell, I will have only 2 options. For this cell, I will have only 1 option. If you know, 5 cross 4 cross 3 cross 2 cross 1 is nothing but 5 factorial. For this sub box alone, we will have a 5 factorial combinations. Based on our constraint, you need to fill the values. 5 factorial is nothing but 120 combinations, right? The similar way, for this box, you will have 6 factorial. This box you will have 5 factorial. Likewise it will goes. To reach the solution, it will take exponential time. It will not comes under polynomial time. That's why Sudoku problem is in NP category. And one more important fact is, if I give the solution for the Sudoku problem, we can easily verify the solution within the polynomial time. That's why this comes under NP category. So P is nothing but, it's a very easy to solve in polynomial time. NP is, it is difficult to solve in polynomial time. It will leads to exponential time, and but we can correct the solution in polynomial time. And the next topic is NP hard problem. Here you can see 2 types of problem A and problem B. I know only the problem B can be executed or successfully completed the task and get the solution in a polynomial time. But I don't know whether a problem A will perform in a polynomial time or non-polynomial time. So at this moment, what I want to do is, I just want to convert or reduce my problem A into problem B. Then automatically I can get the solution in a polynomial time. So this type of problem is called as NP hard problem. This is the relationship between P, NP hard and NP complete. P is the subset of NP problems and NP is the superset of P problems. Some of the NP problems can be reducible. That is, after applying the reduction algorithm, it will form some group of problems. These problems can be executed in a polynomial time. So this is called as NP hard problem. The intersection part is denoted as NP complete problem. Those problem which belongs to both category NP as well as NP hard category is called as NP complete. This is the relationship between P to NP hard. The level is easy to hardest. According to the mathematics and computer science, problem can be divided into two types: decision problem and optimization problems. If the solution is yes or no type, then it is called as decision problem. For example, check whether the number is prime or not, or the given string is palindrome or not. Obviously the solution is yes or no. So these kind of problems are called as decision problem. And the next one is optimization problem. So based on the problem objective, the value will be minimized or maximized. This is called as optimization. The example is traveling salesman problem. That is, you can visit all the cities with minimal cost. Here the objective is minimal cost. Next we move to the approximation algorithm. This is the formal definition of approximation algorithm. And you should remember the input of approximation algorithm is problem, that is optimization problem. It will take only optimization problem because most of the optimization problems are often associated with NP hard problems. So for a given optimization problem P, we need to develop approximation algorithm A. It will give a feasible solution for any given instance. These are the two important properties of approximation algorithm. That is, it will guaranteed to run our problem in polynomial time, and it will give the solution that is near optimal solution, not exact solution, but it will give the near optimal solution. This is the approximation algorithm for NP hard. Before going to this, we should remember the important terms, that is accuracy ratio. Here SA is approximate solution, F of SA is value of objective function for solution, F of S star is exact solution. From that approximate algorithm, we will get only approximate solution, but it is our duty to justify the solution. We need to prove our approximate solution is nearby exact solution. How we can prove this problem means with the help of some quantifying measure, that is called as accuracy ratio. Accuracy ratio is denoted as R of SA. So based on the objective function, the formula will be varied. R of SA is equal to F of SA divided by F of S star. This is for minimizing the objective function. The reverse version, F of S star divided by F of SA, is for maximizing the objective function. The next important term is performance ratio. For all polynomial time approximation algorithm, we can call C approximation algorithm. Here C is greater than or equal to 1. And one more important point we should remember, the accuracy ratio does not exceed to C. Here the C is called as the best value of which inequality holds for all instances of the problem is called the performance ratio of the algorithm, and it is denoted as RA. Next I will explain the approximation algorithm with example problem. First we will take a TSP problem. The idea behind a traveling salesman problem is to find the optimal tour when traveling between many cities. And TSP is a well-known optimization problem. So we can get the optimal solution for small instances in reasonable time. But for large instances, we cannot get the time with guaranteed optimality. The simplest approximation algorithm for TSP is a greedy approach, and another one is minimum spanning tree based approach. I am going to explain nearest neighbor algorithm, multi-fragment heuristic algorithm for greedy approach, and twice around the tree algorithm and Christophite's algorithm for minimum spanning tree based algorithm. The first approach is nearest neighbor algorithm. These are the steps we need to follow. select a random city and find the nearest unvisited city and go there. Check if there are any unvisited cities or left. If answer is yes, repeat the step 2 and return to the first city. Here we have 4 cities A, B, C and D. I started from A. From this A, the nearest neighbor is B because the A to B connection has a least weight. And from B, I will go with C because the connection between the edge weight is 2. From C, I will visit D because the edge weight is 1. And after D, I forced to travel to A because A is the starting city with a weight of 6. So these are the steps followed by nearest neighbor algorithm. So from this we can get the approximate solution because nearest neighbor algorithm is the simplest approximation algorithm. So from that we can get the approximate solution as SA. So A to B value is 1 and B to C value is 2, C to D value is 1 and D to A value is 6. With a length of 10 we will get the approximate solution. So apply the exhaustive search for this same problem, you will get the optimal solution because we need to find the accuracy ratio for the given problem. So the formula for accuracy ratio is R of SA is equal to F of SA divided by F of S star. Here F of SA is nothing but our approximate solution and F of S star is optimal solution. So we obtain A to B, B to D and D to C, C to A is the optimal solution with a length of 8. So finally I conclude the approximate solution SA is 25% longer than the optimal to S star. So this nearest neighbor algorithm is simple to use but it has own drawbacks. Even I chose the small distance of the neighbor but return back to the starting point there may not be a shortest path. In such a case we have to travel a long distance only. So this is the main drawback of nearest neighbor algorithm. Next we move on to the multi-fragment heuristic algorithm. So these are the steps we need to follow. The first step is sort the edges in increasing order of their weight. Repeat the step n times where n is the number of cities in the instance being solved. Add the next edge on the stored edge list to the set of 2 edges and check for each and every step. You need to check it will form a cycle or not. If it forms cycle, skip the edge and return to the set of 2 edges. I will explain the step-by-step procedure with example. Take the same problem for multi-fragment heuristic algorithm also. So what is your first step? You need to sort the edges based on the weight. So the first A to B edge weight is 1 and C to D edge weight is, the next least edge weight is C to D. So the weight is 1 and next least weight is B to C. The next least weight is B to D and next least weight is C to A and the last weight is D to A. So based on this sorted edge list we need to make a graph. Based on the sorted edge make a connection between each and every city. So first step A to B and next make a connection between C to D, next B to C, and we cannot make a connection between B to D and C to A. So obviously make a connection between D to A. This set of edge forms the same tour as the one produced by the previous algorithm, that is nearest neighbor algorithm. In general, the multi-fragment heuristic algorithm tends to produce a significantly better tours than the nearest neighbor algorithm. The next approximation algorithm is twice around the tree algorithm, which is fully based on minimum spanning tree based algorithm. So for a given graph or a given problem, first you need to construct the minimum spanning tree. Next, let the root be an arbitrary vertex and traverse all the vertices by depth first search and record the sequence of vertices both visited and unvisited. use the shortcut method to generate a feasible tour. Construct the minimum spanning tree for the given problem. Here we have 5 nodes. Each and every node will have a lot of edges. So based on the least edge, you are going to construct the minimum spanning tree. And one more condition is we should remember, tree will not allow to form a cycle. So I started from A. So from A I am having 4 connections because node A has 4 degree of 4. A is degree of 4. So A to C is 8, A to B is 4, and A to D is 9, A to E is 12. The minimum edge connection is A to B. So I selected A to B. From B we will have B to D and B to C and B to E, that is 9, 8 and 6 respectively. So from out of these 3 edge weight, 6 is the least weight. So I have selected B to C connection. And to reach D, I am having 2 options here, that is C to D 10 and B to D 8. B to D is the least weight, so I have selected B to D. From D to E, I am having the least edge 7. Even though I am having the connection between C to E, the weight is 11. So 11 is greater than 7. So we opt D to E. This is called as minimum spanning tree for a given problem. So step 1 completed. What is the step 2? Traverse all the vertices by depth first search. Depth first search in the sense, again we need to start from A. According to the minimum spanning tree, you need to perform the depth first search. Start from A to B and B to C. We don't have connection between C to D, so go back to B. From B you can reach the D. From D you can reach E, and from E to A I don't have any connection, so go back to E to D and D to B and finally B to A. This is called as depth first search. If you see the graph, we twice around the tree algorithm. We gone through twice around the tree. So that's why the algorithm name is twice around the tree algorithm. Use the shortcut strategy to generate a feasible tour. This is your last step, that is record the visited nodes. How we can record the visited nodes? I started from A and I reached B. After B I reached C. I don't have any direct connection between C to D, so I go back to the B. From B I can reach D, right? So from D I can visit the E. From E I don't have any direct connection to A, so I return back to D. And from D I don't have any direct connection to A, so I go back to B. From B I can reach the A. This is my tour. From this tour you need to remove the duplicates. What are the duplicates are there? So B is in B comes twice and D also comes in twice a time. So remove the duplicates. Finally you will get A, B, C, D, E and A with a length of 39. These are the steps we need to follow to perform the twice around the tree algorithm. The last algorithm is Christoffels algorithm. First the same step only. For a given graph you need to find the minimum spanning tree and find the odd degree of vertices based on the MST, and find the minimum weight matching, and find Euler cycle path and find the TSP cycle path. It's a very simple one. See, from this MST I will get 4 odd degree vertices. What is your first step? You need to draw the minimum spanning tree. So this is my minimum spanning tree. From this minimum spanning tree you need to find the odd degree vertices. So what is the degree of A? How many edges are there? From A to B 1 edge is there. So 1 is odd number, so A is the odd degree vertices. For B three edges are there, that is B to A and B to D and B to C. So again 3 is also odd number, so B comes under odd degree vertices. For C, B to C connection is there, only one connection, so C is also odd degree vertices. For D, it will have two connections, that is B to D and D to A. So D is not an odd degree, it is a even degree vertices. So in the second step, so we finished the second step, that is we found that from this MST, A, B, C and E is the odd degree vertices. Next, you need to find the minimum weight. If you started from here, A to B, the weight is 4. This is the least one, so no problem, we can retain the weight A to B. And from B to C, the weight is 6. Again we can retain the weight B to C. And I don't have any direct connection between C to D, so how I can reach D? By go back to B, and from B and I will reach the D. So how much weight it will take? 6 plus 8, that is 14. Instead of going D, simply I can take my tour from C to E because the weight is 11. From C to D, the weight is 14. So here the weight is 11. This is the least minimum weight. So I opted C to E. From E, I have selected this line, that is E to D is minimum 7. And from D to A, what is the step I need to take? From D to A, D to B and B to A. Totally I am having the weight of 12. Instead of taking this route, I can directly go back. I can directly go to A with 9. So this is the optimal solution by using Christoffide algorithm. So the final path route is A to B, B to C, C to E and E to D. Finally we will directly go from D to A with a length of 37. And one more thing is, Christoffide algorithm will give a reasonable tour path compared to twice around tree algorithm. Next few slides I will explain what is the need of approximation algorithm for knapsack problems. In general, knapsack problems are a well-known NP-hard problems. In this problem, we have n number of items and each and every item will have a corresponding weight and values. And one more important input here is the maximum capacity of knapsack, which is denoted by capital W. The main objective of the problem is we need to find the most profitable subset of the items. We have two versions of knapsack problem. One is the 0-1 knapsack problem. We can also call it as discrete knapsack, and another one is fractional knapsack problem. We can also call it as continuous knapsack problem. If you are taking the 0-1 knapsack problem, here we cannot divide the item. If the capacity is available, we can load the item. Otherwise, we need to skip the item and proceed the steps for the upcoming items. This process is called as discrete knapsack problem. In fractional knapsack problem, we can divide the item. That is, if the NF space is not available, what we can do is we can take some portion of the item and we can load it into the knapsack. This process is called as continuous knapsack problem. I will explain the discrete knapsack problem with greedy algorithm as well as the continuous knapsack problem with greedy algorithm. Here we have 3 steps. In the first step, you need to compute the value to weight ratio. The formula for value to weight ratio is R is equal to V divided by W. For here, each and every item will have value, unique corresponding value as well as corresponding weight. So based on that value and weight, we need to compute the value weight ratio. In the second step, after computing the ratio, based on that, arrange the items in non-increasing order. After that, what we have to do is we have to load the item into knapsack. If the capacity is sufficient, no problem, we can take it into the knapsack. Otherwise, we skip the element and proceed with the next item. These are the steps followed in greedy algorithm for discrete knapsack problem. I will explain with one example. Here the maximum capacity of knapsack is 10. The total number of items are 4. Each and every items will have a corresponding weight and value. What is our first step? We need to find the value weight ratio. This is the formula. See, for the first item value is 42 and weight is 7. So 42 divided by 7 we will get ratio as 6. For the second item value is 12 and weight is 3. We will get 4 as the ratio. For the third item value is 40 and weight is 4. We will get 10 as the ratio. For the last item value is 25 and weight is 5. So 25 divided by 5 you will get 5 as the ratio. After finishing or after computing a value weight ratio, what we need to do? We need to sort. We need to arrange in non-increasing order. So for the maximum ratio is 10, right? So the third item will be placed in the first position and the next maximum ratio is 6. So the first item will be placed in a second position and the next maximum ratio is 5. So the fourth item will be placed in a third position and the last one is second item. So this will be placed in a fourth item. This is our final input. Based on this sorted item, we need to take the item into knapsack. Here our maximum capacity is what? 10. Our objective is we need to find most valuable subset of the item. Let's start step by step. Take the item 3 and load it into knapsack bag. The weight of item 3 is 4 and the value corresponding with item 3 is 40. What is the first step? We need to check the capacity and weight. Here the capacity is 10, our weight is 4. So capacity is greater than our weight. So no problem, we can load the item 3 into knapsack. Load it. Go to the next item, that is what? Item 1. But the corresponding weight is 7. But we have only 6 as the maximum capacity. So we cannot add the item 1 into the knapsack. What we have to do? We have to move into the next step, that is we need to select the fourth item. The weight corresponding with fourth item is 5 only. Here the maximum capacity is 6, so 6 is greater than 5, so we can load the item 4 into knapsack problem. Now my knapsack capacity is 1. The second item weight is 3, so we cannot load the item 2 into knapsack, so stop the process. At this stage you need to calculate how much profit we earned as well as how much knapsack capacity we utilized. So the total weight is 9 out of 10 we used and the profit we earned is 40 plus 25, which is 65. This step-by-step process is called as greedy algorithm for discrete knapsack problem. Next we move on to the continuous knapsack problem. Here also we are going to use the same step. In step 1 you are going to find the value to weight ratio, that is R is equal to V divided by W. After finding that ratio, you need to find sort the items in non-increasing order. But in the third step, see, if the item is not suitable, if the item is not fitted into our knapsack, what you have to do is you can take the largest fraction, you can divide the item and you can take the largest item and fill it in the knapsack. This is the beauty of continuous knapsack problem. I will explain with example. Here also I have taken the same example. The knapsack capacity is 10. After finding a value weight ratio and after finishing the arrangement, this is our input. And next what we have to do? We have to add the items into knapsack and it will lead or it will give the maximum profit to us. This is our input, final input. Totally we have 4 items and corresponding weight and value. take the first item and load it into knapsack bag. The weight of first item is 4 and value is 40, no problem. 10 is greater than 4, so we can load the first item and go to the next item. The corresponding weight is 7. At this moment we cannot load item 2, but by using continuous knapsack problem we can take the maximum fraction, the largest, we can take the largest fraction to fill the knapsack. Here the largest value, balance, remaining value is 6. So I can take 6 by 7 to the knapsack. After taking 6 items, I need to find the corresponding value for 6. For weight 7, the value will be 42. For weight 6, you need to calculate the value. 42 into 6 by 7, it will give 36. So the corresponding value is 36 here. Stop the process and you need to find the maximum profit and total weight utilized. Here we utilize the maximum, that is 10 out of 10 we utilize the knapsack bag, and the profit we earned is 76. So knapsack problems can be solved by either in a greedy algorithm or an approximation algorithm. But if you are using greedy algorithm, it will give an optimal solution for continuous knapsack. It will not give optimal solution for discrete knapsack problem. That's why we move to the approximation scheme. Finally, we come to know that greedy algorithm does not give optimal solution always, and there is no upper bound on the accuracy of approximate solution also. So we need approximation scheme in order to get the optimal solution with good quality. So this approximation scheme was suggested or proposed by Professor Shani. According to this algorithm, we need to fix the k items. Initially, we need to fix the k value. Based on the k value, generate all subsets. And for each and every subset, we need to find out the possible items to be added and corresponding profit without violating the constraint. This algorithm will give the accuracy level is f of s star divided by f of s a power k, which is less than or equal to 1 plus 1 by k. That means we need to carefully fix the k value so that our accuracy ratio should be less than or equal to our 1 plus 1 by k. I will explain the approximation scheme with k is equal to 2 and w is equal to 10. Here the input is already pre-processed. We have a weight value ratio, and based on the ratio already items are sorted. So from that we need to do the first step. First, here k value is 2, so generate the subset. Here k is equal to 2, so we can generate from null set to maximum of two combination elements. Your first step is I am going to generate the null set. Imagine if our knapsack is empty, what are the possible items can be added? So my knapsack capacity is 10, right? So I can add item 1 because the weight is 4, and I cannot add item 2 because the weight is 7, it will exceed the maximum capacity. And I can add item 3, the weight is 5, and I can add item 4, the weight of item 4 is 1. So these are the possible items can be added for null set. The profit is 69. In the second step, imagine if my knapsack is already filled with item 1. Filled with item 1 in the sense I have utilized the knapsack with a weight of 4. So used weight is indicated as red color. So already I utilized or used 4. So remaining I need to fill up to 6. So what are the possible items I can add? So I cannot add item 2 because 4 plus 7 will lead the constraint violation. So I can add item 3 because the weight is 5 and item 4 weight is 1. and profit is 69. 69 in the sense 40 plus 25 plus 4. In the next step, what I have to do is, I have to imagine if my knapsack is holding second item, the weight associated with second item is 7. So what are the possible items can I add? I can add only 4, because remaining items, that is item 1 and item 3, if I add item 1 and item 3, the knapsack capacity will be exceeded. So I can add only item 4. The profit of this combination is 46. Next, again I imagine if the knapsack is holding item 3. So what I can add? I can add item 1 and 4. The weight is 5 plus 4 plus 1. For the next, the profit is 69. In the next step, suppose if knapsack is already loaded with item 4, that is I have utilized only 1, remaining 9 spaces are there. So I can add item 1 and 3 and the maximum profit is 69. Up to this we finished single element combination, and but our k is equal to 2, so we can move to the 2 element combination. So now I am going to move combine item 1 and 2. See, if I add item 1 and 2, the weight is 11, so it is greater than my knapsack capacity, so it is not a feasible one. So I will skip to the next combination. 1, 2 is finished, so next you have to check with 1, 3. If 1, 3 is available in knapsack, what is the weight? Cumulative weight is 4 plus 5, 9. Already 9 occupied. So I can able to add only one space, that is item 4. The possible profit is 69. In the next combination, if I add 1, 4, utilized space is 5. So I can add remaining 5 spaces. So I can simply add the item 3 and profit is 69. In the next combination, I have to check with 2, 3. 2, 3 is again the total weight is greater than our knapsack capacity. So this is also not feasible. So move on to the next combination. 2, 4. If I add 2, 4, the utilized weight, used weight is 8. So I cannot add any other items, because item 1 weight is 4 and item 3 weight is 5. So I cannot add any more item, and the profit is 46. If I combine item 3 and 4, the utilized weight is 6. So I can add item 1. The weight associated with item 1 is 4. So the profit will be 69. So these are the feasible solutions. For the first profit 69, and for the next combination 46. For 1, 2 not feasible. For 1, 3 69, 1, 4 69 and 2, 3 not feasible. And here 46, 69. These profit are called as feasible solution. From this feasible solution, I can easily select the optimal solution. That is the beauty of approximation scheme. So your final conclusion is the algorithm efficiency of approximation is order of k, n power k plus 1, and the optimal solution is 1, 3, 4 with total weight utilized to 10 and profit is 69. And one more important thing is, even though the approximation scheme will be solved in a polynomial time, this is only for n parameter. This is not for k parameter. If you want to solve the algorithm in a polynomial time for k, we can move to the fully polynomial algorithm. That is the drawback of approximation scheme. So I just want to conclude the approximation algorithm concept. If you are using the brute force algorithm, it will develop a clever enumeration strategy and it will give a guarantee to find a optimal solution, but no guarantee to running for time complexity, right? If you are using the heuristic approach, It will develop some intuitive algorithm and give some guarantee to running in polynomial time. It will solve the algorithm in polynomial time, but it will not give a guarantee to quality of solution. If you are using the approximation algorithm, it will give a guarantee to run in polynomial time and it will give the quality of solution. That is, it will give a near optimal solution. The main obstacle of approximation algorithm is we need to prove a solution value is close to our optimal value even without knowing the optimum value. Thanks for watching the video.